Good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Menachem Creditor. It's my honor to serve as scholar in residence and rabbi for UJA Federation of New York. We bring you Torah and music, blessing, and community every weekday. We've been doing so since March 18th, 2020. Today it is Friday, January 23rd, 2026. What a privilege to be part of this community with friends from all over the world, like Deborah and Penny, Cynthia. So good to see you. Jonathan and Michelle, Lydia, Susie and Arlene, Boker Tov, Ashley and Linda, Richard, good to see you. Penny, thank you. It's broadcast 1476. John, good to see you. Barbara, welcome. Carl and Natalia, good morning, everybody. I hope that you are all staying warm, especially if you're on the East Coast, maybe all over the United States. There's some really serious cold and snow happening. Take very good care of yourself, and if there's a way for you to help your neighbor, please don't miss that chance. Jerry, Valerie, nice to see you. Yes, let's get something on the calendar. Patricia and Arlene, Shari, it's good to see you. Shari, you write, I want to read this out loud because it's so beautiful. Your husband is on his third and final interview to work with children with disabilities and autism, and you believe this is what he was born to do. I am praying for that because that holy work, especially if he is well suited for it, helps so many people, and it demonstrates such values driven life decisions. Beautiful. Praying for him and for those he can help. Rosa and Patricia, Debbie and Dave, Barry and Sienna, good morning, friends. Hi, Cecile. Hi, Sharon and Deborah. Good morning. Toby Ann, nice to see you. Let's see who else is here. Oh, Deborah, your friend Randy died yesterday, and you will miss him always, you say. May his memory be for a blessing. Amy and Arlene, Barbara and Ron, good morning. Hi, Bensi. Okay, let's take a breath. We're going to sing a bracha, learn some Torah. Here we go. Hi, Marcia. Hi, Karen. Dina, nice to see you. Ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la la la, ay ya la la la. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, melech haolam. Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah, la'asok b'divrei Torah. Hafok ba ve'hafok ba, la'asok b'divrei Torah. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ay ya la la la. Good morning, friends. Arlene, you're sharing that today would have been your mother's birthday. Happy birthday to your mother. May her memory be for a blessing. And Jack, you shared very, very tenderly just now that today is your granddaughter's 14th birthday. And you wrote, earlier in the week was her twins' yahrzeit. This time in a life, he was in life for an hour, but was indeed, you write, the hero twin who kept his sister safe. May his memory be for blessing, and may your family be comforted. Friends, it is such a powerful thing that we share these tender and personal and vulnerable aspects of our life, and we connect them to Torah. Thank you, friends, for bringing everything you are to this holy community. We learn Torah, but part of the Torah we learn is the Torah that we share, the honesty of our lived experience. And I'm so grateful for the way in which we continue to show up for each other. Thank you for, in your comments, offering comfort to everyone who shares something from their life, because it shouldn't go unanswered. We should actively say, we're here. Hinenu. We're ready to support each other. That's part of the work of any sacred community. And in our Parsha this week, as we're getting ready for Shabbat, it's important to understand, it is really important to understand that every family, every people, every group goes through hardships. And for us, the archetypal story, friends, is what we come through in leaving Egypt. Because for hundreds of years we are enslaved. We are the extreme of other. We are dehumanized. That story is one that we tell so often, and it's important once in a while to take a pause and to reflect on the fact that we tell our darkest story very often. Anytime you pass a doorway that has a mezuzah, and I hope that your home, your door, has a mezuzah. Anytime you pass by a doorway that has a mezuzah, you are literally passing by a story of our escape, of our liberation from a terrible reality. We kiss that when we walk by the doorway. How important it is, because we are kissing our ancestors and we are taking in some of that mythic history into our bodies as we walk in and out of our space. When we say the Shema, we are recounting, especially in the third paragraph of it, the story of leaving Egypt. When we have Seder on Pesach, we explicitly tell that story. Whenever we make a blessing over grape juice or wine for Friday nights, for Shabbos, or for Yom Tov, for a holiday, we're telling the story, Zecher L'Tziat Mitzrayim, to remember the exodus from Egypt. And you might ask yourself, which is a natural thing to do, really? Everything has to bring me back to that dark time? And the answer is yes, really everything. The signs in our ritual life that are tied to our lived experience, everything that we do Jewishly that connects us to our past, is actually a strengthening for the sake of the future. Number one, because our real world includes darkness. Mitzrayim, Egypt, is not just a place then. It is a way of going through life in hardship. It is the use of power to control and dehumanize. It was done to us. The Torah tells us that story, and we tell that story over and over so that we can learn. So that we can learn. As John is saying, memory is our greatest gift. But isn't it hard? Isn't it heavy to carry these memories? I often teach that ritual is a way of holding us steady in a shaky world. Because the world is shaky. The corners of the world right now where people are living under threat are very, very significant. They are close to home. I'm thinking of countless clergy friends and neighbors in Minneapolis who are struggling just for the safety of walking around under threat. I'm thinking about all those in Iran who made their faces public in protest of a totalitarian government. I'm thinking of countless other places in the world, some of which are in the headlines and some of which we don't think about after seeing them for a day. And I know that when I make Kiddush tonight, when I close my eyes and I say Zecher L'Tziat Mitzrayim, for the sake of remembering the exodus from Egypt, it's not only telling me where I come from, it's telling me who I am, who we are, and what we are called to do in this real world. Those rituals are not nostalgia. Those rituals are me saying, Joy, I am there with you. Joy, for those who don't know on Instagram, is with us on Facebook, and she said, thank you for mentioning Minneapolis. How can we say these blessings if we don't remember to love our neighbors as ourselves, which means their humanity is our responsibility? Listen to the very end of this week's Parsha. I'll just read the English. This is chapter 13, verses 15 and 16 of the book of Exodus. When Pharaoh stubbornly refused to let us go, God slew every firstborn in the land of Egypt, the firstborn of both human and beast. It's horrific. Therefore, I sacrifice to God every firstborn issue of the womb, meaning The sacrifice that our ancestors offered on Pesach, the animal sacrifice, came along with a recitation, which is, in this ritual act, I remember the cost of freedom. Therefore, I sacrifice this, but redeem every firstborn among my children. There's this mitzvah called Pidyon Haben or Pidyon Bat, which is to redeem our firstborn children, which is to act in gratitude for their very lives. And the very last verse of this parsha is, and so it shall be as a sign upon your hand and a symbol on your forehead, that with a mighty hand God freed us from Egypt. In Hebrew, V'haya le'ot al yadcha u'letotafot b'neinecha, ki v'chozek yad hotzianu Adonai mimitzrayim. The tefillin that I wear, the phylacteries, no one uses that word, but that's the translation of it, on my arm and on my head every morning, the tefillin that in it has the same scroll, some of it, as the mezuzah, the telling of the story of Egypt. It's on my body here, because this is where I think, and in the Torah, the brain or the heart were very connected. And so the heart is where you do your thinking, and this is where you do your feeling. So what I feel and hear, what I do with my arms, what I do with my body, is a demonstration that I have learned from our Egypt exodus. We are not allowed to act as if it's far away. It's not. Anything that happens to any human being happens to me. We are supposed to feel united as images of God, and when any one of us is assaulted, all of us are assaulted. We say that every time there's, God forbid, an anti-Semitic attack, graffiti, or God forbid, physical violence, an attack on one of us is demonstration that hate is in the air. And where Jews are targeted, often other people are targeted too. Well, that should be true in the reverse. Our commitment, friends, our commitment should be to standing for humanity everywhere it stands. It should be a sign, every ritual, every mitzvah, every act that we do as part of Jewish tradition is meant to sensitize us to the beauty of life itself and its fragility. So as we go into Shabbos today, friends, ready to read this parsha tomorrow, a Torah portion that tells us that rituals bring us back into the lived experience of our people, and therefore in that way of being in our history, we channel the lessons of that history forward into our own times. Ritual is a time machine to open our eyes and to remember that it wasn't always like this. And if I have freedom in my life, I'm only worthy of it if I make sure I'm not the only one who has it. May we be blessed to experience many mitzvot, many rituals that bring us into sensitivity, into empathy, into compassion, into thought, into feeling, and then most of all, into action. Faith, in Jewish terms, is what I do with my body. And so the tefillin on my arm should remind me to use my arm in a holy way. The tefillin on my head should encourage me to think and feel for the sake of others, because I'm wearing that very human story on my body, integrating it into my being. And then when I take my tefillin off, hopefully the mark that it leaves in me is indelible. It is part and parcel of what it is to be human in the world. May we do so with infinite love for the sake of others. Let's send our hearts to the east, friends, and sing. Kolon balevav pnima nefesh Yehudi homia ulefate mizrach kadima ayin letzion tzofia od lo avda tikvateinu hatikva bat shnot alpayim להיות עם חופשי בארצנו, ארץ ציון וירושלים. להיות עם חופשי בארצנו, ארץ ציון וירושלים. Am Yisrael Chai. Shabbat Shalom. See you on Monday, my friends.